Heartbroken Harry is homesick. Prince Harry has revealed how utterly homesick he is as he pens a 647-word letter about his home country of the United Kingdom in advance of Remembrance Sunday, where brave veterans from 2 world wars are honoured and remembered. Now, this letter is devastating. It speaks volumes. It reveals just how much Harry misses his life in Britain. He is horribly homesick. Harry, horribly homesick. This guy misses his life in Britain. Of course he does. He is miserable in America. Now, I love America. 40% of the viewers of the Mark Dolan show are in the United States. I could make a great success of living in America. Maybe I will. But it's not working for Harry. He is not suited to the USA. He's bored. He's sad. He's lonely, he's depressed. Of course, it's not America's fault. It is not the fault of the United States of America and its many brilliant citizens. It is his wife. It's Meghan Markle. My husband, I call him H. It's all about Meghan. That's why he's not happy. This is not a marriage. It's a hostage situation. And Harry wants out. This isn't so much a letter that he's written about Remembrance Weekend. This is a cry for help. It's not a letter. It is a cry for help. The guy is in trouble. He made a terrible decision marrying this woman. It's ruined his life. And now he's writing letters saying, get me out of here. It's a cry for help. Let them cry to heaven. That's what it is. The guy's in trouble. Harry's not happy. He wants out. He's desperate to come home, and of course he is. In the United Kingdom, he's got his family there. His father, who's in his 70s and battling cancer, and who happens to be the king, which is a bit of a mic drop. He is pining for his brother, William, his only sibling. He's only got one, and they're not on speaking terms. And William's such a decent guy. Can you imagine having Prince William in your life? Well, Harry had Prince William in his life for years and years and years, and he was a second parent. In many ways, more caring, more attentive, more present, more loving, more wise than his own father Charles, who, whilst they were going through the horror, the aftermath of Diana's passing, what was Charles doing? Chasing tail is what he was doing. He was chasing tail. He was preoccupied with Camilla. Now, of course, Charles was saddened by the passing of Diana. Obviously, Charles has got a heart. He's a decent man. But he was, for years and years and years, he was chasing tail. He was obsessed. He was preoccupied with Camilla. So Harry had William to take care of him, to be the older, wiser brother. And William's never had an easy gig. Don't you tell me that being the spare is the punishment, right? Being the spare is a lot easier than being the heir. Because when you're the heir, which is what William is, then from the moment you're born, from the moment you exit that rather aristocratic womb, it's made very clear to you that you will be the monarch of the United Kingdom. You have that burden from day one. And Harry never had that. He was the spare, which is the best gig ever. All the money, all the fame, all the celebrity, all the position, all the titles, all the meet and greets, the adoration of the public, the write-ups in the papers and magazines, and access to any woman in the world that you want. And yet, you get all of that and no responsibility. And Harry writes a book at how terrible it was. He writes a book about how terrible it was. And that book was called Spare. And it's driven me spare just reading it and reflecting on how indulgent it is. And now he's written a letter for Remembrance Sunday, which ironically, it's there, of course, Remembrance Weekend, to look back on those who sacrificed everything for the freedom that we now enjoy. Although I'm not sure what they'd make of the world that we've been fighting for in 2025, if I'm honest, but that's another conversation. But the truth is that Harry, once again, has made it about himself. Just like Sentebale was about Harry, just like African Parks was about Harry, just like the Invictus Games, which has got major PR problems, was all about Harry. and that's why half the people in Invictus don't want Harry and Meghan involved. They would like someone like Zara Phillips or Mike Tyndall or Sir David Beckham to represent Invictus. Let me know in the comments who should take over Invictus. Harry's not fit for purpose. He's not the right person to do it. He's toxic, and therefore he has toxified Invictus, which is a heroic charity which is there to run a sporting competition of injured athletes who have lost limbs and God knows what else, PTSD, all sorts of problems, sight loss. And what these heroes do, right? They were heroes in war and injured in war, fighting for the freedoms that we enjoy. And now they're heroes again by being incredibly successful within the Invictus Games sporting arena. And Harry ruins it because every year he gets up and makes a keynote speech moaning about the state of the world. And the reason why is because he's so miserable. So he just sees the world in black and white. It's doom and gloom, which we've got from this letter, which I'll come to, right? This letter that he's written for Remembrance Weekend is coming. That letter is doom and gloom central, and it's a cry for help. Let them cry to heaven. It is, I promise you. He's not a happy bunny. Let me know in the comments who should take over Invictus. I've got the perfect person. I have got the perfect person. Sir David Beckham, who was knighted by the king this week. And Victoria, who's such an amazing lady, is now Lady Beckham. And she deserves it. Does anyone deserve to be Lady this or Lady that than Victoria Beckham, who sold 75 million records in the Spice Girls? This woman is an extraordinary, successful recording artist. She sold 75 million records and the Spice Girls broke America. So she is Lady. If that's not enough, I don't know if that's enough to sell 75 million records and break America and be the pin-up. The Spice Girls were the pin-up for a generation of male American teenagers. So she does that, and then she launches a fashion brand called Victoria Beckham, which is very successful. Now, commercially not so much. But the reason why is because the rag trade, right, the fashion world is extremely hard financially. It is really, really difficult to make money in that area. It's a strong brand. It doesn't matter. She has debts, okay? Let me say just this. Did you know that Amazon didn't make a penny, didn't make a dollar, didn't make a dime for about a decade? Rupert Murdoch, shut up, Sky News. Sky News was loss-making, or Sky TV was loss-making for about 20 years before it came good, because he's the world's greatest media entrepreneur and a genius. And one day I'm going to marry Meghan Markle because I think she's an attractive woman with excellent physiology. I like her immune system and I like her metabolism. I think she's got good kidneys, a good pancreas, and excellent esophagus is what I've actually seen. I'm Rupert Murdoch, and I've seen scans of Meghan Markle's internal organs, and they are robust. They have a plentiful blood supply. They're healthy and strong, just like Meghan herself, which is why one day I may marry her. The reason why I'll marry her is because she needs the money. And when Harry and her divorce, as predicted by the Mark Dolan show, which is the only show in the world to replace Harry and Meghan on 24/7 Divorce Watch, I'll get divorced, I'll marry Meghan, and she'll be a billionaire overnight. So the bottom line is that Harry is miserable. Can you imagine having William in your life? That's what Harry had. That is what Harry sacrificed, and he misses it. He misses his old man. He misses his brother. He misses Princess Catherine, who he was very close to before Meghan came and turned him against her. She got inside his head and made him hate Catherine, made him hate William, and write in the book Spare that William was going shockingly bald and didn't look like his mum anymore. I beg your pardon? What? He wrote that in the book Spare. He said, "Oh, it's really strange, my brother, Willie," who he kept calling Willie. How dare you? How dare you call the future king of the United Kingdom Willie? How dare you? That's so contemptful. Well, of course, that's like Meghan calling him H. I call him my husband. Although I've noticed that Harry started doing it. My wife, my wife. So, my husband, my wife, my husband, my wife, my husband, my wife. The pair of them, what a freak show. I mean, anyhow, he writes in the book that that his brother was shocking hair loss, and that Willie was violent to him, which he wasn't. I mean, Harry is such a flake. He gets a little right hook from William in a little contretemps they had. I think it was in Nottingham Cottage. It was in one of the royal accommodations, and he clouts him. Now, we would never advocate violence on the Mark Dolan show. It's completely wrong, and William shouldn't have done it. But it didn't take much. It would take a feather duster to knock over Prince Harry, who's so fragile. My mental health's so fragile. I'm such a delicate flower. And then he says, in the book Spare, I'll never get over this, guys. Folks, I will never get over this. That he said that his brother doesn't look like his mother anymore. What a strange thing to say. What does that even mean? How can you say that your brother used to look like your mother, who's no longer with us, killed in a tragic circumstance in Paris, France, which, by the way, Meghan mocked the memory of Diana by partying like it was 1999 in Paris with her feet up in the back of a limousine as her limo, zoomed around Paris tunnels, not unlike the one in which Diana perished. And Meghan puts it all on Instagram. But these are the good people, folks. Do keep up. So William, and then he says, he doesn't look, William, my brother, Willie, doesn't look like my mother anymore. A very strange thing to say. Well, it's an obscene thing to say. It's actually unforgivable, because what Harry's trying to do is to say, basically, William, you're not really Diana's son anymore. This is sort of disinheriting his older brother from the legacy of Diana, which you can't do because Diana's his mother. So you can't, through language and narratives and clever little words, deny someone's parentage and take that off them, to rob them of that. But that's what Harry does. He robs people of things. He's robbed the royal family of their dignity with that traitorous Oprah interview and the disgusting book Spare. Anyway, Harry's not happy. That's why he's written this book, which is a cry for help. And deep down, he misses William. He misses his father. He misses England. He misses the weather. He misses the rain, the snow, the wind, and the sleet. Harry misses the sleet because Harry has a sleet makeup. Right? He is sleet-based. He is suited to a sleet environment. He is a very sleety character. That's his habitat, is sleet, which, if you don't know, if you're in a very warm, sunny clime, such as Nevada, then I can tell you sleet is melting snow, is actually what it is. And that's what Harry misses. He misses cold beers with his politically incorrect friends. He misses shooting innocent birds out of the sky. He misses politically incorrect jokes, and he misses chasing girls, and he misses, the British humour, fair play, sitcoms, Charles Dickens, William. No, let's not get carried away. Harry's not a big reader. He's not Brain of Britain. Anyhow, he's not happy. He wants out. He's desperate to come home. The problem he's got, folks, before I get to the details of this letter, is that he's desperate to come home. Heartbroken Harry homesick. Fine, that is true. But he can't come home because she's controlled everything. Everything's there. His home now is in the United States, in Montecito. And the kids are there. Harry is absolutely between a rock and a hard place because he wants out, which is what this letter demonstrates, which I'll come to in a second. But he actually can't get out because there's no prenup. So when they divorce, she'll take him to the cleaners and she'll take the kids and she'll keep the house and his life won't be worth living and he would be going back to a country that doesn't want him anyway. So he's in a real pickle, I've got to say. He's between a rock and a hard place. And so this letter, right, is a devastating cry for help. The Duke of Sussex has declared in this letter about the war heroes that he's made about himself. He said the banter and bravery make us British in a heartfelt essay released ahead of Remembrance Day. Harry, who served for a decade in the British Army and completed 2 frontline tours of Afghanistan, reflected on his enduring pride in his country in a 647-word piece entitled The Bond, the Banter, the Bravery, What It Means to be British by Prince Harry. He wrote, the banter of the mess, the clubhouse, the pub, the stands, ridiculous as it sounds, these are the things that make us British. I make no apology for it. I love it. How dare you? How dare you put the word apology into a letter about how you supposedly love your country? Well, an apology's right. What we need an apology for is not this letter, which is a rather sweet ode to the United Kingdom. I've got no problem with the content of the letter. I got a problem with Spare, in which you characterised your family as evil monsters and denigrated the monarchy. I got a problem with the documentary series Harry and Meghan, where your wife, my husband, my wife, my husband, my wife, she mocked Queen Elizabeth II with the curtsy scene. And I've got a problem with the Oprah Winfrey non-interview in which you called the royal family a bunch of racists. So it's unforgivable and it's so bad. Anyhow, he now says, ridiculous as it sounds, the banter, the clubhouse, these are the things that make us British. Well, it's not ridiculous. How dare you say it's ridiculous? It's a strange compliment, isn't it? It's a bit like saying to your wife, I know this is a ridiculous thing to say, but you're very beautiful. I mean, it's not a great compliment, is it? Imagine saying, you got lovely eyes, and I make no apology for saying that. What do you mean you got no apology for saying that? Either I've got lovely eyes or I don't. I had a lovely, years and years ago, in the dark days before Mrs. Dolan, I had 1 or 2 romantic dalliances. I stepped out with 1 or 2 ladies, and very, not in the biblical sense, very, visits to the cinema and very Catholic hikes through, natural climes, bracing walks and afternoon coffees, that kind of thing. Anyhow, and there was one young lady, and I said, you got lovely eyes, and she was actually offended by that. And she said to me, well, are you calling me ugly? I said, no, you're very beautiful. I said, you got lovely eyes. And she said, when a man says, I got lovely eyes, that's like a polite way of trying to excuse the rest of her face. I didn't know that. I thought that if you said you got lovely eyes, which this young lady was an excellent young lady. I mean, she wasn't the Mrs. Dolan level, obviously. But we were only stepping out. This was afternoon strolls. And she was offended when I said, you've got lovely eyes, because somehow it's a bit like I've looked at her face and entire body and I've had to find something positive. It's like damage limitation. I'm like, excellent earlobes. Can I congratulate you on your ear? Anyway, she was a very beautiful lady with a keen intellect, great hobbies, a very completely God-given physique. There was nothing wrong with this lady whatsoever. She was a prime example of the Homo sapiens female, as far as I was concerned. But I picked out the eyes. That was my big mistake. Let me know in the comments, where was I going wrong? Well, of course, it's not an issue now. It's all. Now you've got to say everything's great. The hair, the eyes, the cheekbones, it's all perfect. And then you're fine. You're home and hosed. Harry wrote in this letter, this was not a letter, folks. This was a cry for help. Let them cry to heaven. He wrote, the banter of the mess, the clubhouse, the pub, the stands, ridiculous as it sounds, these are the things that make us British. I make no apology for it. I love it. Prince Harry, let me say just this, first of all. Because what we do on the Mark Dolan show is we cut through the BS. And Prince Harry, let me level with you now, because I will never BS you. And I will cut through the BS. Harry didn't write that letter. Harry didn't write this 647 word. Harry doesn't have 647 words in his head.
Harry's like, oh, hello, Meghan. Thank you, my love. I'll have a cup of tea. Please, may I have a beer? It's bedtime. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump. Poor Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire. Meghan, have you seen my crayons anywhere? Humpy dumpy dumpy dump. I like colouring in. Night night, everyone. Bye-bye. I'm Prince Harry. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump. Is it time for my bath?
I mean, the guy is not an intellectual colossus. He didn't write this letter. Okay? First of all, I mean, he didn't write the book Spare. Harry doesn't do sentences. Did you know that he couldn't label his own A-level art homework at school, right? A teacher called Sarah Forsyth testified in 2005 that she wrote his entire explanatory text overnight whilst he talked about football. And the head of art at the school at Eton completed his pieces. Right? So Harry was doing,
I'll do some nice pictures. I'll do some nice pictures with paint and colouring in.
And he doesn't, and then he can't write on the back of the artwork,
by Harry Mountbatten Windsor.
he can't manage that bit of labelling it properly and describing the piece he's just created. He admitted on tape that he contributed about a sentence to this coursework. He got a B in art and a D in geography, right? His only A-levels. Apparently he's got dyslexia. Well, that's an insult to dyslexics, I think. His 2023 memoir, Spare, was reportedly ghostwritten by J.R. Moehringer, who conducted hundreds of hours of interviews and multiple drafts, as he did for ex-tennis player Andre Agassi and the founder of Nike, Phil Knight. Given Harry's well-documented inability to produce coherent written work without heavy assistance and the polished, structured style of this particular lovely essay that he's written for the War Dead, timed for his Toronto trip, it is impossible that he wrote it alone. He didn't write it. On the Mark Dolan show, we'll cut through the BS. He did not write this lyrical thing because Harry doesn't do sentences. He probably sketched out a few ideas with finger paints and crayons, and that was about it. So there you go. I think likely the work of a professional ghostwriter and with a bit of help from ChatGPT, which is that online software now which does all the work for people. Also, can I just say that we've all this stuff in the remembrance letter that he's written, this little essay. He talked about how proud I am of my time serving this country, fighting for this country. Well, the only person you've served is yourself, Harry. But also, has he fought? Prince Harry's decade-long military service, okay, he was in the military for a decade. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. But it's been so inflated into a sort of heroic myth now that I think insults the anonymous sacrifices of thousands of ordinary soldiers who won't have books and won't have little essays that get well publicised. So first of all, his first combat tour in 2007-2008 collapsed after 10 weeks. He did 10 weeks, folks. Right? This is not exactly Platoon. Full Metal Jacket, this is not. Apocalypse Now, I don't think so. 10 weeks he served when a media leak forced his evacuation. So hardly the 6-month rotation that he lets the public imagine. His second stint as an Apache co-pilot gunner in 2012 and 2013 saw him log 20 weeks of missions. Okay, 20 weeks of missions. But then in the book Spare, he bragged, I should say, about all of the Taliban that he'd taken out, which was, of course, completely inappropriate because that puts a target on the back of all of his colleagues in the military and his family. But anyway, there's no way that you're going to take out all those Taliban in a short stint as an Apache co-pilot. 10 minutes in a helicopter and you've wiped out half the Taliban. I don't think so. So it's wild. He didn't have any bodyguards when he was serving, but no infantry firefights either. He sat in a cockpit. He called in strikes and flew home to a palace. I'm sorry, folks, but that is the honest truth about his military record. And the bottom line is, he trades on this military stuff with the Invictus, and the Invictus heroes are not having it. Because they're like, Harry, I lost my legs and you spent 10 minutes in a helicopter effectively on holiday in Afghanistan. I'm sorry. I'm not having it. So it's pretty wild. And he actually manages in this letter to attack America in a way, because he says,
Though I may live in the United States, Britain is and always will be the country I proudly served and fought for.
right, and he implied that that's the country he would fight for. Well, how dare you? Because let me tell you that if I moved to the United States, never say never, but if I did, if I became an American citizen, which I think is the right thing to do, I think if you go to America, do it properly, become a US citizen, I would fight for America. I would fight for the country that provides my accommodation, that keeps me safe day and night, that gives me economic opportunities, that has cultural value. I would fight for Britain as a Brit. I would fight for America as an American citizen. I think it's the right thing. If I lived in France, I would fight for the French, mon ami. Je vais aux guerres pour la France. Et je vais gagner. Je vais gagner très bien et très vite. Parce que je suis très, très confiant. Et je suis très efficient avec le pistol, et les bombes, pouf. Le bombe, l'explosion, bien sûr. I was going to say, if I lived in Germany, would I fight for Germany? That becomes a little historically awkward. But yes, Germany now, of course, is a wonderful, modern, beautiful, progressive democracy. So yes, I would fight for Germany now, the modern Germany. 50 years ago, not so much. Auf die Treppe schnell! Right, so let's get on with this. This is the problem. I love you very much. But you pipe up with these remarks, and it slows me down. And I'm trying to deliver royal truth bombs, give you erstwhile analysis, and you're chipping in with little remarks, little questions. It's a real problem. By the way, before we wrap things up, and we're going to finish this letter, which is a cry for help, but let them cry to heaven. I've got to tell you that in yesterday's show, there was no sympathy for Fergie whatsoever. Zero sympathy for Fergie from you. In the comments, I would say that 99.9% of the comments said, Mark, we completely disagree with you. Sarah Ferguson has brought this on herself. She's a foolish, greedy woman of poor judgment, and it's not King Charles's job to pay for her accommodation. She's wasted money. She's lived beyond her means for too long. She's traded on her royal titles. She's offered access to the royal family for cash. She's cynical. She's damaged the royal family. She's a fool. She's an idiot. She's immature. She's not a victim. You were furious, raging about Sarah Ferguson, and you didn't agree with me one iota, not even one bit. And that's why I love the comments. It's so instructive to me. It's so interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I agree with you. Sarah is a fool. She isn't a prize numpty. Of course, I'll grant you that. She's a fool. I just feel, if I was King Charles, okay, I don't want to make you cross again, but all I'll say is that if I write a check for $2 million and it makes Fergie go away, do you know what I mean? If I can just write a check and make this problem go away, that's all I mean. She wouldn't deserve it. She wouldn't deserve it. She doesn't deserve it. Of course not. She's a greedy, indulgent fool and very thick. And by the way, a woman of low virtue as well. She gets around and she's not like the fragrant young ladies that I used to step out with in a very innocuous context. We would just go fishing. Perhaps I would take her to a boutique to look at frocks, that kind of thing. None of that wholesome stuff. So, but I will tell you, you did not agree about Sarah Ferguson, and that's why the comments are not part of the show. The comments are the show. And what we are here on the Mark Dolan Show is we're a big, friendly, cuddly family. And you know what? We're allowed to disagree. It's a good thing. Because the world, have you noticed, the world has forgotten how to disagree. It can't do it. The world cannot have nuance. It can't have disagreement. It's basically, if I don't agree with you, you're the enemy, which is wild. Because everyone is on a spectrum of opinion. And so, but anyway, it's great comments. I thoroughly enjoyed reading them. I was very entertained by them and a lot of passion out there. But many of you feel it will be a huge injustice if Charles felt that he had to fork out for this woman's accommodation. I think what I'm hearing from you in the comments is that in life, you make your bed, you got to lie in it. And I think you feel that Fergie has made these choices. She's been given about 100 lifelines, all of which she has squandered. And therefore, enough is enough. I think that's I hope that's an overview of where you're at. But yeah, it was great. It was very instructive and I enjoyed that. And listen, this show, if nothing else, is going to spark a debate. And sometimes we will disagree. And I hope that we're good with that. I think we have to be. Fundamentally, we agree. Values-wise, the Mark Dolan Show is a family that believes in loyalty, honesty, authenticity, morality, doing the right thing, being consistent, family first, blood is thicker than water. Those are all things around which but within that, there are nuances. And I just felt with the Sarah Ferguson thing that there is a political worry for Charles that she may write a book, and I will maintain if she does, she'll make millions. But listen, it's all about opinions. Before I go, so this country that Harry is so proud to have served and fought for, right? This is the same country that earlier in the year he sued. I mean, if he loves his country, he's got a funny way of showing it, hasn't he? Because he took the British government to court for royal security, which is not about his safety, it's about his ego, because he wants there's a word to describe what he wants when he comes to the UK. And he wants that presence of security for his ego, so it looks like the court of Prince Harry. Entourage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Thanks for all the joy they're bringing. Who could live without it? I ask in all honesty, what would life be without a song or a dance? What are we? I say thank you for the music, for giving it to me. I must do a special on ABBA. Very interesting band, very, very popular, genius. And they all married each other, 2 boys, 2 girls, and then they all divorced each other. Yikes. There's a story there. Love ABBA. Love Sweden. So, how do we get onto that? Basically, he wants, that's why he sued the British government. It's not his safety, because if it was, he wouldn't have gone to Ukraine or China or Mexico or Angola or any of these other provably dangerous places. And so that's what he wanted, is an entourage. And that's why he's sued the British government and he lost. And it will be hilarious when William becomes king, if he strips all of the minor royals of Prince and Princess and Duke and Duchess. Well, it'll be a great thing because Harry will be horrified because he craves that recognition and he craves the titles. And that's what this letter is about, is that he craves a return to this country. Heartbroken Harry, homesick. And how dare he speak about this country and how much he loves it when he accuses the royal family, which has at its head the head of state of the United Kingdom, a bunch of racists. By the way, there's a few journalists around me in this space who are claiming that Harry released this letter on Wednesday so that the Prince of Wales's COP30 address in Brazil tomorrow was not, that there was no competition for publicity. Basically, it's being pitched as Harry's olive branch to William. Well, first of all, Harry, get your ego in check. Are you telling me that you're such a big shot that if you release a boring letter that you didn't write, it was done by a ghostwriter, some hack at the New York Times and ChatGPT? Right, you're telling me that your crappy little letter, the ideas for which you sketched out in crayon and finger paint, is going to diminish the message of William, a respected global figure who's going to be the next king of the United Kingdom, probably, and I hate to say this, sooner rather than later. Do you honestly think you're such a big shot that your crappy little letter is in competition with a global address at COP30, the Environmental Summit, tomorrow, Thursday, on the part of the Prince of Wales. Get over yourself. No one cares about your little handwritten note, Harry. It's not an olive branch at all. And by the way, it is an upstaging exercise because this is Harry trying to muscle in and pretend he's a real royal. So he's going to Canada. I mean, I love Canada so much, and I feel so sorry for the people of Canada that he's going to be there, because Canada's a great country, rebuilding itself under a new administration, and then that guy turns up. Seriously. He'll be meeting veterans. Have they not suffered enough? He'll be meeting serving personnel, military, charities, as part of his ongoing commitment to the armed forces. I don't think so. It's part of his ongoing commitment to his ego and his public profile and his fame and his money. That's what this is about. So that's what Harry's going to do. He's going off to Canada and he's written this letter and it's all about him and he wants to make headlines. And don't you be telling me that just because it's the day before William's speech that this is some kind of olive branch. Could I also draw your attention to the fact that William is speaking today as well? That's right. William is on stage on the same day as Harry's pathetic letter written in crayon and sketched out with finger paint. Harry takes the stage at the Earthshot Prize Awards in Rio de Janeiro. So this is a very big week and a big day and a big 2 days, a big 48 hours for William. And rather than an olive branch, this is actually Harry all over again competing with his brother. All the other press outlets are like, oh, a lovely olive branch. I don't think so. Pull the other one. I'm so sorry, folks, but here on the Mark Dolan Show, we've got the seeing eye. We'll call out the BS. And we'll be doing that again very soon. I've loved your company. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'm sitting on some very, very big stories. Love your work. Let me know what you like about the show. Let me know what you don't like. And I'll see you tomorrow for more brutal truth bombs. Big love. Bye for now. Stay awesome. The only way is up. I'll say goodbye to love. No one ever cared if I could live or die. Time and time again, the chance for love has passed me by, and all I know of love is how to live without it. I just can't find it. So I made my mind up, I must live my life alone. And though it's just too long now, I must go. The kettle's on. See you tomorrow.